everybody. How you doing out there in coolest coastland? This is Jason Prigge for Coffee on the Coast, and I am, as I do on Wednesdays, talking with somebody from the Manitowoc Public Library. And today we have Lisa Pike on. And Lisa, you have a different title since the last time we spoke. Is that correct?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Now I'm the materials librarian at the Manitowoc Public Library.
Nice. So what does that mean?
So that means I work at picking all the great materials that go into the library, whether it's DVDs, books, or audiobooks, or music, any of that fabulous stuff that we have. And then I also help catalog everything as it comes in as well.
Awesome. And you guys have a great collection, obviously. And it's always getting bigger and it's always changing. And I have you on today to talk about a couple of places where people can find things in the library and also some new acquisitions that you have. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So as everybody may know, we were closed about 2 months earlier this year because of the virus. And during that time, we decided to try to make the most of it and limit the disruption to patrons on site when we move things. So one of our big projects that we did was we combined the adult graphic novels and the young adult or teen graphic novels into one location. So we thought this would make it easier for people to be able to find things and hopefully help the collection circulate a little bit better as well.
Very cool.
Those are now located behind at the young adult collection, where the fiction young adult collection is near the new teen area.
Very cool. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the some of the new graphic novels that are coming in. And I love graphic novels because, excuse me, because I'm an illustrator and I'm an artist. I've been an artist in the past, and I just love graphic novels. And my son, as he was growing up, that really helped him get engaged with reading. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's just a comic book. But I've read like Moby Dick in graphic novel form, which is really cool. And of course, the Batman series as well. But, you know, there's some great stuff in graphic novels. Can you talk a little bit about these?
Yeah, graphic novels are a great way to get kids reading, especially if they're having difficulties. You know, it's one of those great opportunities to introduce a child to reading. But besides graphic books for children and young adults or teens, there's also some really awesome graphic novels coming out for adults with more adult content. The two books that are up on the screen right now are a couple of recent acquisitions to the library. The one on the left, Year of the Rabbit by Tian Veza, is actually a personal family memoir of sorts. It talks about his parents' experiences in the 1970s in Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge regime and their takeover and what they experienced, especially his father being a doctor at the time. So that's a very awesome and interesting read. He has a good sense of humor about it. He uses sidebars throughout to point out some of the more bizarre, kind of outdated beliefs that the regime had and how they were laughable, and how the family kind of survived by, you know, being able to see that and maintain their humanity at the same time. The one on the right, called Giant by Mikkel, that takes place in the 1930s during the Depression in New York City. It follows a Irish steel worker and a very selfless act that he takes upon himself. One of his coworkers accidentally dies, and he actually decides to continue writing letters to the widow back in Ireland as her husband. And he's also sending her money to help support her and the kids because he just can't bring himself to tell her that her husband has died. So it follows his story and what life was like in the city at that time.
Wow. So these are not just for kids. These are there's some content here with some real substance.
Definitely. And that's what we try to, you know, tell people too, is graphic novels are not just comic books. They really are the full experience of a fiction novel, just with those illustrations to help tell the story. So the two titles up on the screen now, the one on the left, The Golden Age, is a fantasy type graphic novel. It's the classic hero's journey, but it's from the female perspective, which is a different spin. And one of the reviews I read about it actually kind of says that it's about kind of like a spin on Game of Thrones. So if there's any Game of Thrones fans
Mm,
out there, they may enjoy that. It's basically about a princess trying to reclaim her kingdom after being overthrown by her younger brother. And there's also a peasant revolt going on throughout. So very
interesting.
interesting, colorful book. And it's the first in a planned duology. So check that out. And then the one on the right, Windows on the World, um, is actually about the experiences of a Mexican family whose father actually immigrated to the United States and was working in the Windows on the World restaurant near the World Trade Center on the day of 9/11. And his
Wow.
family thing unfold on television and don't know if he's survived or not. So his son decides to cross the border and take on that dangerous journey to find out if his father is still alive.
Wow. Some pretty interesting reads, I would say. Wow. That one, the second one where the guy keeps on writing to his friends, that
Sorry, I
one,
lost the audio.
oh no, that's okay. So that first one that we were talking about, Giant, was really appeals to me. So you can check out these books at the library. Just ask where the graphic novels are because they've moved. And the library is always trying to make things more efficient and easier to access for everybody, especially during the COVID era here. And as the way of the world goes, masks are now required at the library, and it's very easy to go in there and access information and get somebody's help with that. But don't forget also to access their Facebook page, which I have right down here. Right down here. There's always something going on the Facebook page. There's always something new happening at the Manitowoc Public Library. And if you want to find out more, I have the website right here. So thank you so much, Lisa, for joining me today. It's nice to see you again.
Nice
And
to see you.
thanks for all you do for the community and for the Manitowoc Public Library. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great